I think that it would be prudent to answer
Do it.
the question that these people have been asking in the comments.
Yeah, do it. I'm gonna have James on. I'm gonna ask what's her name? Sophia. There's a lady you talk to if you want to talk to James. Hold on, let me see her name. Go ahead. We're live, James, by the way. That's what Brian's referencing. There's comments. Go ahead, Brian. Take over. I'll just keep picking James's brain. Go.
Well, yeah. No, having him back
about
on
something these people care about instead of me using James for my own personal psychological. He's helping me with my own analysis. Go ahead.
There just have been asking about the difference in methodology that you were referring to earlier. Well, it seems like quite a while now between CrossFit and OPEX. And I thought, if you don't mind, if I could offer an example.
No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
If I could offer one example from my perspective, and then just you can say whatever you want.
Tara, you have to talk to Tara, if you want to.
Anyway, my perspective is the burpee is the best example of this from a physical perspective, because in the world of CrossFit, the burpee is very well known and famous, and most people don't like it. I always tell people that it's one of the two movements you never want to lose over the course of a lifetime, because if you cannot get up and down from the ground, your quality of life is probably going to be pretty poor eventually. But in the OPEX model, when I went through that, what I realized was that the burpee is actually an evolution of several other movements that people often lack the mastery of before they start doing a lot of burpees. And specifically the front leaning rest, which is kind of a plank where you shift your weight forward a little bit, and then having really good quality of push-ups, and then the ability to hinge your hips while maintaining core integrity. And so then that was like totally enlightening to me, like this very, very basic movement in CrossFit of the burpee, get on the floor, get off the floor any way you can, do it a bunch of times, as opposed to thinking through the process of doing that movement of getting down and getting back up, and that you can actually build up a more healthy and well-structured way in which to accomplish the task. That's what it's like, a microcosm example of, at least from the physical perspective, how I perceive the difference in methodology.
Yeah, that's pretty darn good. Do you want me to go on in other areas that I think is different?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I know there are a ton, but that was just like, I thought that would be an easy one for people to conceptualize who do burpees, you know?
No, that's fantastic. And for our time, of course, it's unfair. By the way, Sevan, I would take you up on number 2 or number 3 or number 4 or number 5, whatever. But I'd much preferred, if we can, to all three of us just get in a room and talk over coffee. We'd probably hammer out a bunch of stuff that no one else needs to be a part of listening, because I think we wanted to do that today because we haven't seen each other for a while.
I was speaking in gross hyperbole. There's between me and you from inside of here, there's nothing. Just so you know. I was just acknowledging the white elephant in the room. It's not my fucking white elephant. Just so you know. I love you to death. There's nothing. Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, and it wasn't taken that way. I was just saying, like, you know, it just seems like I would love to. I feel that too. I would love to, like, just have further discussion, right? But on some things, like, you know, the meaning of life and
right.
And what our purpose is. I mean, those things probably just for three of us to chat on, and you know, it doesn't need to be in a you know, public setting.
But I like that is my favorite topic. Sorry. Okay, go ahead. So burpees.
For sure. And then there's the question.
Sorry, Brian.
Because that asks further question on that. Well, why are you interested in the meaning of life? And it goes on and on, right? But that's that side of our call. I think that you know, a couple different viewpoints too to add to yours, Brian, is that OPEX is individualized, and that means that we are approaching every situation. We're hoping it's approached every situation that we give someone a dose response and exercise relative to where they sit that day. So it's not just to use other words, scaled, or, you know, you just give different things to kind of help people out in that area. It's, you know, clearly individualized. And I would use that as a marker, because this goes into the area of reality. What is reality? You know, CrossFit is not individualized as much as they and everyone wants it to seem that way. it's not individualized. And so I think that would be a clear one, a second one, I would say.
Could you give me an example of that? Because I'm stuck that CrossFit is individualized. Give me an example of that.
You think CrossFit is individualized?
Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
Fuck, that's a complete judgment.
Guilty. I'm guilty.
Yeah. Well,
tell me, because I think I do CrossFit in my garage and I individualize it for myself.
Well, I think let's go meta on that. The fact that we're actually asking, I think it's outside of our conversation to answer probably, it doesn't matter what we think, but if you're just
I don't know what individualized means. Maybe I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Well, maybe individualized means that, regardless of where you are and your capabilities and your experience, we're going to give you something for exercise dose response with the correct intentions that's just in front of that ... that creates autonomy in the future and a long-term progression, right?
Okay.
So we don't care about 12 weeks of weight loss, and we don't care about you fitting into a group conformed concept, right? Of everyone moving in space together with music and lights and a 20-minute time frame. So that, and the definition, both sides, the definition of CrossFit, the fact that we can't even define it, in comparison is disgusting, actually. But it's I can't even believe we're here. That not just from you, Sevan, but the question is still asked that CrossFit somehow.
But when
program.
But when I
was I clear on what individualized programs mean?
No, but the way you're describing it is I've never been into a CrossFit gym where there's lights, flashing lights. I've heard the music when they start working out. But I've been we had a program at HQ that I would see every single day, and there were probably 30 or 40 people in there, and they were it was only for old people and obese people, this class. And you walked in there and no two people were doing the same thing. And the coaches were Michelle.
In my opinion, that's not CrossFit.
Okay. Well, now we're getting to something. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we just have different. I thought we had different definitions of individualized. We have different definitions of CrossFit. But isn't that what scaling is, James? Isn't that isn't that always been sort of the foundation of CrossFit, to scale the movements for each person? Help me, buddy. I was only there 15 years. I'm not as smart as you. Help me.
No.
Or do we not have enough time?
We don't. Don't lay that on me. That's the fact.
Too late.
I'm sorry. My brain is broken. The fact that we're asking that question just shows
90 minutes of, he liked me for 90 minutes and I fucking stumbled.
Oh, no.
Darn it.
No, it's sad because, I've put a lot of effort and work into defining that difference. And it's just, obviously it's not seeped outside of my ecosystem and my
that is true. That, or at least it didn't seep into me. But I'm very curious. Maybe we should have started the show with this.
Well, I can tell you this, James, that as I had an exposure to CrossFit for about 4 years before I came across OPEX, and I spent a year really heavily investing in what you were teaching. I think I finished the CCP in 6 or 7 months, but I spent that whole year coaching people individually and really diving into dissecting everything you had to say that was offered within that program. And I chose to make it to kind of use what I'd learned from both and make a hybrid application of that in my own coaching career. And then maybe that's disgusting for you to hear. I don't know. But I tried. I think that the one of the biggest things I took away from the OPEX was that a massive component of coaching in any capacity is developing a relationship with the people that you're working with. And that if you really invest in that side of it, that there's a ton of new avenues and possibilities open, regardless of what the name on the building is or what people think that they're doing there. Is that if there's a relationship built up between coach and client, that anything is possible.
Yeah, and the definition of goes back to a question you asked on my success, or both of you indirectly asked for my success. The definition of success in the fitness relationship is autonomy of that client to be able to go and do stuff on their own. And so I think that's another definite,
which, by the way, is what that's what Sevan is doing now in his own gym. And I think that's why he maybe has like the words are maybe confused, but he's applying what he's learned for 15 years working at CrossFit.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, maybe we all have to do a nice view around the world in percentages of what CrossFit gyms are doing day to day. And that, I mean, I hear this all the time. So that's why I'm kind of surprised. But I guess explaining the story would make a lot more sense, Sevan, where you're coming from on that. But that's not what's happening, in every one of those gyms.
So
large percentage, it's a turnstile with a 60-minute class, and there's shit you got to do.
Right. Okay. So this is the, and to be fair, in my defense, the other person that I know, the most hardcore CrossFitter I know is my mom. And I have the closest relationship with her. I see her every single day, and she's 77 years old, and she goes to Annie Sakamoto's gym. So she has one of the best coaches in the world who does everything individualized for her. And she's 77. Do you know what I mean? But what you're saying is that basically you walk into a CrossFit gym and it's like, hey, everyone, run around the building. Everyone runs 400 meters, does the same thing. Then, okay, everyone put the weight on your bar, 65 pounds, and go. Yeah.
And if there's any like in-betweens on that, my point is that CrossFit can't claim, like your mom is not doing CrossFit in my definition.
Okay.
Your mom's doing fitness.
Right.
Your mom is exercising.
Okay.
So, and I think that's probably where we need, a clearing up is like, well, what is exercise?
Right.
If exercise is something you're going to do every day that's slightly in front of you, that leads you to, for your mom, for example, to walk around really high function at 95, then I don't fucking care what she's doing. But if we're going to try to define the exercise she's doing, we have to hold steady to the doctrine of the definition of that methodology. Constantly varied, high intensity functional movements. And if you're going to go outside of that definition, then it's not called CrossFit.
Right.
In constantly very high intensity functional movement, that's performed for every individual in a progressive order that's relative to where you're starting. That wasn't in the doctrine, right? So
and relative to what I do.
We understand why it wasn't, because it's fucking hard to sell, right? You're not going to get tens of thousands of groups of people wanting to do that when you're like, and whoa, and your design is going to be individualized. It's like, oh, no.
Well, I don't think that's true. You had me until that point. From where I said, I don't think that was true. No, it wasn't. You're thinking there was more forethought. You're giving it more credit, the movement more credit than it deserves. It wasn't like that. The ball was just rolling down the hill. It wasn't designed for that. It was that, and then so it became that. Do you know what I mean? Like Greg wasn't like, from all the stuff that I saw, and I spent every day with him for fucking 10 years. No exaggeration. He was never like, okay, I want to design this so more people could do it, so it could sell faster, so I could make more money. It wasn't.
No.
Okay, I thought you were saying it was designed for that.
No.
It was designed and then just got out the door, like COVID.
Yeah, I'm agreeing on that.
I'm agreeing. Glad I was able to squeeze that in.
Yeah, we're current. I'm saying the same thing, but I
and maybe I don't do CrossFit either, because I don't do high intensity anymore.
Yeah,
relative to what I used to do. Do you do high intensity?
I did, but not anymore. I mean, that's what is it?
Either.
You see, even the conversation of intensity, is like you're gonna reach philosophical bedrock on it. You're just gonna it's fucking what is that relative? It's like, but that's what we say when we say high intensity is like, holy fuck, like I can't even discuss these things with you. Like you don't even have a comprehend, not you. You guys, you don't even have a comprehension of what I mean by like physical performance forever and physical expression forever. And if you can't like even wrap your mind around that, I can't even talk with you. So I can't even answer the question, so that's where it ends up going.
I wonder,
we should have started on a base support of just what my beliefs would be in like the highest order version of physical expression for a lifetime. And that would have been much easier. And now we're on the back end, answering a question on the differences in methodology, which takes a longer conversation, to be fair to all of us and the person who's asking, which I appreciate.
Well, okay. Well, we got to the bottom of it for me. I feel better about it.